Hey guys, this is SF and welcome to Random Talk Sundays. This week it is going to be Tsukuyomi. At first, I didn't want to farm Tsukuyomi for Random Talk Sundays just because I wanted to do Yoshimune. Because Yoshimune is going to end. It is a Friday, it's going to end today, and I need to finish my sucking Yoshimune. But then I think Yoshimune is a little bit boring in my opinion, and this is more brain dead. Tsukuyomi is a little bit more brain dead than Yoshimune. Basically, the only thing I really have to focus is the first shot for the bounce and to clear out the first floor, and then the rest I just blind flick. But so that's why. Not much in terms of JP news. There is Brahma, the Transcendent Brahma, coming out. And he is a wood resistance, wood slayer. So I think this is the first monster to have both resist and slayer at the same on the same monster. And then no warp on the gauge. So it's wood resistance and then gauge, no warp, and then no warp wood slayer. So wood slayer is not on the main ability, so that kind of sucks. And strike shot is pretty much the same. It's 20 turns with plus 8 for second gear. And then bump combo is the same as the Ascended version in terms of the main bump. So it's Spread, Pierce, Destruction, XL3 if I remember correctly. And then Super Blast or Giga Blast for the sub bump, which is pretty nice. Overall, he's not a bad monster, but he's not a very good monster. And you know, people are gonna say it, but Himiko and Roma are better than Brahma in terms of just general, like in terms of wood slayers. And then he doesn't really win out against Hanzo that much because Hanzo has more viability in non-wood monsters, non-wood dungeons. So they're hoping for maybe if the wood colossal would be full of warps, but then you see the problem that Brahma doesn't really beat Hanzo in that way. And it's not like there's going to be obstructors difference because Brahma is a bounce monster as well as Hanzo. But the good part about the strike shot is that the range of the blast is really big. It's pretty much as big as a normal size boss hitbox. So like wherever you hit, you're definitely gonna hit a weak spot. And I think it's one of those strike shots where if you do a reveal weak point, it will hit all three. And usually when you do those, it's either 2 at most. But you know, if you do a reveal weak spot, then you probably get all 3 in there. Like I think like even like for giant bosses like Akala, you can probably go from one way, like attack one direct, like attack the opposite side of the weak point, and then you can still hit it with the blast radius, which is pretty strong in my opinion. But you know, he's not like OP-ness. He's not like Genghis Khan OP-ness. Of course, Genghis Khan is a limited dungeon, and even so, Genghis Khan is not that popular in general. So that's why he's kind of meh in a sense. And then not much. I think they're like, from the looks of it, I think they're like holding up on giant news just because they are attending one of the biggest Japanese conventions. It's called Nico Nico Tokaigi, which basically Nico Nico, if you don't know what Nico Nico is a streaming platform, like a video platform that's mostly for streamers. And you know, it's kind of like Japanese Twitch, I guess, in a way. I think Twitch is a little bit better than Nico Nico in terms of like gaming and live streaming, but you know, Nico Nico has like all the Vocaloids, dance covers, voice covers, whatever you have it. And it's not just games. So there's that, and they're actually promoting that there's going to be a monster news during that time. So most likely there's going to be something big in store for all of us, and that's happening in 3 weeks. It's on February the 11th and the 11th and the 12th. So most likely we're gonna see something big, and yay, let's just do it. All my strike shots are stalled up, and weak point, there we go. I think I missed it because I was blind flicking. Yep. I definitely missed it, but that's fine. Like for Tsukuyomi, like I can go for like 4 or 5 minute runs, which is pretty fast if you're doing like average extreme dungeons, like average farming for like extremes. And this isn't impossible, but even so, things like this screws you over. Just because I'm not focusing that much. Usually my 4 minute runs I kind of focus on like positioning and stuff like that, but since I'm talking and just not caring, I'm a little bit slow for this run at least. See? And there's gonna be a attack down or ability lock. It doesn't matter. Pandora is really strong. But yeah, I kind of like, I felt like if I do this for Impossible Mondays, like a speed run of Yomi, it's not that cool, I guess. Because, you know, pretty sure people know how Pandora works and how Pandora is really OP. And Tsukuyomi is not a really hard dungeon either. 6 minutes. Sad face. And my fastest is like 4:30 with this team. But yeah, I didn't want to do for Impossible Mondays just because, like, it's not informative. It's not like holy crap is amazing team either. It's just like you stack OPs and then the OPs just wreck like crazy. Let's see. I need more Pandora friends. No more Pandora friends. Let's go for Udi. Udi friend. And the other reason, of course, I want to farm a new Impossible because I finished my second one, which is Kushinada. So it's Izanami and then Kushinada, and somehow I went straight to Tsukuyomi. But another reason is I'm very low on Divine Shards. Of course, Impossibles are not the best way of farming farming Divine Shards, but it's the best I can do right now, and I totally missed that shot. But it's the best one in terms of rates for now. And this is going to be fun. It's me missing that first shot. And this is where Pandora comes into play. Just because she gets her own speed up when she hits a gravity barrier. And the speed wise is just as fast as, like, the speed boost is pretty much the same as a normal speed up bump. So you're basically having a Hell Udi in there, even though I bring you 2. Even though there isn't any there on my team. Okay. Boom. And then, in terms of the new series in JP, people find Pendulum kind of hard just because it's not stable, I guess. Like, you can die a lot of times just because it feels like it's not your fault. And I'm not saying that it isn't your fault. It's just that you guys need like, everybody needs practice. And I get leaked out, and I don't, like, I leave one up because I don't know, for some reason. So not everybody's perfect. I'm pretty sure like the higher ups like can just do it, like just one shots everyone, no problem. And I've seen like 3 minute clears just because once you get to the boss stage, you just pinch and then you one-shot him, and then that's basically the game. My fastest is only like 6 minutes, I think. I don't think I went to 4 minutes. I think I saw a 4 minute, but I don't think it was mine. And this is what happens when I blind flick, but I still got it. And I'm getting close in terms of right now, and I'll have it done by Penglai, which is on Saturday. Hopefully I defeat her. At least this time I'm more prepared in terms of, I won't say monsters, but in terms of what I need to do, because most of the time it's just I spent half the time trying to figure out how to actually like play the dungeon, and then the other half is actually like getting the runs down, getting like getting the angles correctly, the positioning correctly, because pinching those Bahamut's is pretty hard if you're not used to it. And I think like pendulum is a good practice for it, just because you're using switch panels to pinch for the most part. And I think that's a good way to practice, in my opinion, especially for those Bahamut pinches, because it's not like exactly like a 45-degree angle for the most part. Oh, you just gotta pinch there. I just wasted like a lot of time. And there you go. And of course, people have probably seen it. I got Dina, and she's gonna be the monster of the week. And it was hard trying to figure out the scaling on the healing, and I don't think I think like right now, as of right now, I don't even know like the exact percentages. And probably in the monster of the week video, I'm just gonna say some of my results. Although they're not like really, I didn't try like 100 times or something like that, but I think the max is like 50%, which is pretty big. And the heal circle is pretty big as well, so you don't have to worry about like missing a lot, question mark. Like if you think about it, like if you do it just for the healing, it's not that strong, because you're not even getting a gold heart's worth of healing. So that's why it's kind of, you know, meh in that way. But of course, there is the speed up and the power and the strength up to deal damage to the boss, which is always good. So I think that's pretty neat. And it's like pretty different. It's unique, of course. It's the only monster that has it. Pretty sure there's going to be more monsters in the near future that's going to have it. Kind of like with Hakwa. With the clone strike shot, and then after Nick got it, and then who else got it? Oh, I shouldn't have strike shot. That wastes more time. Yes, Pandora was right there with the sword as well. So Nick got it, and then Lilim got it, and JP, the Japanese Leah, and all these other ones. Now there's like 6 clones per strike shot. But in my opinion, in terms of which one's better, I think Hakwa's better than Dina, just because, you know, Hakwa has better nulls, and then and then bump combos is kind of your preference, I guess. Of course, rebound spread shot does more damage in general, but you have to aim for it and stuff like that. So you have to both aim for it, and I don't think it's like, and max luck bonuses, OP. I didn't even spend an orb yet, and it is almost an hour into the dungeon, and you know, pretty crazy. And I need more medals. I do have magic stones, so I'm just going to push more magic stones in. Although I kind of want to save them for the next monster if they're going to make it in February after Olive. Please tell me I hit it. No! Okay, I need to practice that. I need to practice that. Or I need to actually focus and hit it. There we go. Although I kind of want to start off with Uri. But, of course, Divines. I need Divines. Just because I want to do a really fun tower party with 2 Hakuas and 2 Dinas. Come on! Boom! That's the power of Pandora, guys. Self speed up. But I don't really know. I guess the best one is because they both have either Flight or Minesweeper, so the best one I think is 39th. 39th floor of the tower. So if you see that happening, then see that happening. I kind of need to stock up on those videos just because tower's gonna end in a couple of days. And of course, I want to bring it out every single week and during that off week or two, because they usually start on the 7th of every month. Come on, there we go. So that so I can actually bring it out every Tuesday. So I need, so I need 2 stock, and of course 1 for next week as well. So probably on Tuesday, I should, if there's a Tuesday, for Tuesday I should do a stream and then just like speed farm it or speed run it. And I didn't get to the Visceron, doesn't matter, Uri can still one shot. But that's pretty much it for JP News. NA News, of course, 8.0. They released some information. Taiwan released all the information for the most part. And I know people are kind of confused for a lot of stuff, especially for ones that don't watch JP or keep up with JP or care about JP. So 8.0 is, I guess I'll start off by talking about talking towards the people that know about JP or keep up with JP, is how far close are there in the version updates. Content wise, it's not gonna shorten in any way, in my opinion. Like, content and client updates are 2 different things in these games. A lot of people that play American style, like American games, usually think, oh, there is a patch, so that means there's more content. It's different in terms of like mobile games, at least. I'm pretty sure like PC games are kind of like that because they don't want to keep you. It's not like they don't want you to keep downloading updates every like other day, like kind of like what some mobile games like Monster Strike and like other mobile games does. So right now 8.0 in global / Taiwan / whatever is pretty much going to be the same as 8.0 of what JP has. There are some changes, a little slight change. Is there any? I don't think there is actually. I think it's full 8.0 and there's nothing added on or left out. But like, I'm gonna talk a little bit more of that later. But things that JP has that NA don't, just because they're in further versions. So JP right now has 8.2. And 8.1 was basically the luck reduction. So what that means is, let's say you have you want to ascend a monster or you want to transcend a monster. It's either the gems or the ascended materials, and I basically stacked all my, let's say Brahma. Let's say Brahma for one example. I have a lot of fire gems. And Brahma needs 3. The luck reduction makes it so that you can fuse all your fire gems together. So let's say you fuse them all together and you have like a luck 20 fire gem, fire dragon gem. You can use it. Normally, when you use it, that 20 luck fire gem will be only used once, and basically that monster's gone, and you basically wasted 17 extra luck onto Brahma. With the luck reduction, you don't have to. So basically, it will take that 20 luck, minus it by 3, and that will act as your material for Brahma, and you still keep that dragon gem as well. So that's pretty awesome. And 8.1 also did the Monsterpedia change. And what that Monsterpedia change is that for basically shows you the whole Monsterpedia for free. You don't have to actually collect. You don't have to see them either. So if you have them, then they'll be brightened up. If you don't have them, then it will be darkened. It's kind of different with, like, you know, right now where it's darkened when you have seen it but you don't have it, and light up when you actually have it. Lots of people, JP really likes it because whenever there's a new data push, you will see like upcoming monsters, and pretty sure Eddie's gonna be like that once 8.1 comes out. 8.1 comes out, so like people can see the new series before, like all the monsters in the new series before they actually hit the hatcher. Of course, it really depends on the devs of when they want to push the data. Most likely it'll be like at least 12 hours before it actually hits, so that's good. So people can decide that way, and of course, people like me who add monsters onto strike shots and stuff don't have to wait for the series to actually come out to get everything, get all the information. I can just look at the Monsterpedia and there you have it. So that's pretty good. And then 8.2 is basically monster buffs. There's nothing much to it. There's a whole list. Mainly the winners are Mustang. Pretty much Mustang. But that's the only one I remember. And I've been getting no divines in 7 minutes. What the hell? But yeah, basically the winner is Mustang. Well, I guess it's kind of like a win-lose situation, because if you win in the buff department, then you lose out on the transcension department. And I'm pretty sure none of those monsters are gonna get transcended anytime soon. So there's that as well. But in terms of 8.0 library, very good. You get five runs per day, and it is basically a lot of extremes and a lot of savages. It's not every single one or every single savage, and it doesn't include limited dungeons. So like Ares is coming out. Ares is not going to be in the library after she's gone. Of course, Yoshimune is not going to be back. Not going to be in the library when she's gone. And yeah, like those types of dungeons. Other features, you can stalk, and you can stalk dungeons now. So basically, except for colossals and impossibles. So basically, when you have an extreme up and you don't have time to run it, but you really need it for, like, I don't know, A7 materials or for that actual max for max luck purposes, then you can stock it, save it for later, and then play it, save it for later when you have actual time to do it. And it still costs stamina, it still costs it, and you pay it up front. But once you play it, it's still zero. It's gonna be 0 stamina, so you have to pay it up front. And I'm not sure if it has the 24-hour limit or the 48-hour limit. I think JP got the 48-hour limit on 8.2. I think it's 8.2. So you have to wait for that. Medals, you probably see me using most of the items. And right now I'm using the chest item, which basically gives me 2 extra chests. Good for farming, because just because, you know, you get extra chests. So basically, if you run 4 max lux in anything, then you have basically 5 max lux on the board, which is pretty awesome. And then of course there's Olive. I max lucked it, and I've said it probably a few times already. But if you want to max luck Olive and you don't want to actually roll to get her to max luck, because you can get medals from rolling the Hatcher. It's basically farm every single event, and new events have a ×5 medal multiplier, 5 times. So that's pretty neat. And if you S clear it, then it is usually 2,000 if you solo. And Olive is 1 luck is it 30k? No, it should be 20k. And it should be 20k. So basically 10 runs of extreme on new events, you'll get a Olive. And in terms of max lucking, if you solo, then that is about 30, well, I'll say 40 to 50 runs if you get lucky. And that's, you know, every new extreme is a 5 luck Olive, which is not bad. And then I did it for every single one for 6-7 months. You know, it's a long trek. Of course, there is the easy way out of just rolling the Hatcher, get the magic stones, and you can finish her that way. And some people who haven't, I know a lot of people that don't have her, don't think she's worth it, because they use those chests for, like, you know, for farming impossibles like that. And is she worth it? I think, like, she's okay, in my opinion. For me, if you don't care about max luck, like you have a ton of max lucks that you don't really care about, I would suggest at least getting 3, just because of the 22nd floor of the tower with the Bahamut X. Just because her Heartberry can block those homings on the first shot, and you can break. Although I won't recommend 4 Olives because she doesn't do that much damage in general to actually beat Bahamut X, you would want to bring 3 and then 1 damage source like a Hunter King or something like that, and be relatively safe. Like, even if you anger it by accident, you can still survive, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And what else is there? And new friend system. Basically, you get a new friend, which is either 3 days or younger, and then play with them, be friends with them, and then you know, you get orbs that way. And then friend helper gets renewed. You can choose now. I'll show you. I guess I'll show you in a different time because I want to actually farm this. But basically, you don't have to put it on the first slot of the first team you have. You can just select it. And then there's going to be a friend slot for 5-star dungeons now. There's going to be Highland Skull Dragon. And I'm pretty sure the new friend list for JP, or the current friend list of JP, is going to be in the 8.0 thing as well. So you can just choose your friends. I think they reset like every 3 hours, so you can only use it once per session. So that's why you want to still have friends that actually switch for specific impossibles or colossals. And then I even have friends that switch it for like specific extremes, especially new ones. So that's pretty helpful. And I should stop now. You know, it's 30 minutes, and I want to keep on farming. But that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye.